Hello, everybody. We are back. It is Champ Chat time again. This is the local pundit. I am Paddy. We have Aaron and John with us today as normal. Today will be an interesting chat because we get to talk about Wrexham. And we had fun this weekend. We won a match. How are you, boys?
Fantastic.
Oh, good.
How about you, John? You lost.
Yeah, you lost. What
You
happened?
Yeah, it's going to happen, surprisingly, I know, but yeah.
Okay, before we go straight into it, hello to everybody in the chat. We have a nice load of people there, guys. Thank you very much for coming in. There's so many of you, I'm not going to call out the names tonight, but just know you're appreciated. We love having you here. So we are going to skip our transfer talk tonight because we are doing a big show tomorrow. So let's just remind everybody about that. Go and check. Ooh, I hit my mic. Sorry. Go and check the link to the show, which is up already tomorrow, to find out what time it is local for you guys, because we had a massive chat in the Discord between 20 people trying to figure out what time zone was what. So I'm not going to tell you when it is. Go click on it. It is evening time, UK time. So
5 p.m. UK, and then figure it out from there.
Yeah. And if anybody remembers last season, Aaron put in a little bit of an effort, and then we all thought, Jesus, we really should step it up next year. Well, now it's next year. So we are trying to step it up a little bit this year. So if you had fun last year, you will definitely have fun this year. Now, we are expecting movement on transfers for ourselves tomorrow. So what we are doing is I'm basically the one awake because I'm near UK time. So I'll be monitoring throughout the day. And if we do get transfers and news, I will try and jump on and cover that briefly throughout the day. So keep an eye on our transfers and shows as they pop up. And then we will go on as a team later in the evening and deep dive and stay on for the end of the transfer window and however long after we feel is still fun. Last year it went on for quite a while. We got a little silly and a lot silly, and we weren't even drunk. So it's not one to be missed, guys. If you have the time, catch us live, put in your comments, and we'll have some great fun. So, John, you're going to be there tomorrow after work if you can make it. You're a little tied up because you actually work, unlike some of us reprobates.
Yeah, unfortunately, I finish work at 5, so I will be a little bit late. But yes, I should be there.
Okay. Well, everybody is planning on being there, getting up in the middle of the night as usual, some of us, making it work. So let's move on to Champ Chat because that's a 3-minute intro and I don't usually talk that long. And before I forget, while I'm at it, why not? Do the like, do the subscribe, do the comments, do all that crap for YouTube. We are very close to 2.8 thousand. We are going to tick over that very, very shortly. So help us get there pretty quick and then on to 3,000. So this weekend we had some fun matches. Let me just have a look at the results and I'll call them out quickly. So Friday night we had the late match, Leicester City versus Birmingham. Leicester took a 2-0 win at home. Saturday then we had Middlesbrough versus Sheffield United. Middlesbrough won 1-0. Sheffield United are in the mud, have not won or drawn. They are bottom of the table, which is interesting. We will definitely talk about that today. Queen's Park Rangers won 3-1 against Charlton Athletic. Not a great surprise there. Stoke City lost a 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion. Blackburn Rovers lost 2-0 to Norwich City. Bristol Rovers, in a bit of a banger, won 4-2 versus Hull. Ipswich Town, another draw for them, finishing 2-2 with Derby County. Interesting match, that one, with 2 penalties, one for either side. Millwall lost 2-0 to us as the away team. That was an interesting match, but unfortunately, for anyone who doesn't know, Danny Ward got injured late in the match, and some of the Millwall fans are being real babies about the whole issue, so we will go into that later. Very, very fun, that one. Oxford United had a draw 2-2 with Coventry City, which was a good result for them because Coventry are flying high, banging in the goals. But Oxford held them for a single point. Portsmouth won 1-0 at Preston, against Preston North End. They were at home. Sheffield Wednesday lost at home, losing 2-0 to Swansea City. And then finally, we have Watford in a draw with Southampton, 2-2. Not a bad result for Watford, holding one of the big boys to a draw. So off you go, guys. What do we think about the results?
Some predictable, some shocking, and some typical Championship, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All over the place this weekend, wasn't it? I mean, it's some real surprise, some surprise results. Some were, yeah, that's about what I figured. Yeah, it was yeah. I'm starting to believe that this is just the Championship. It never works out like it should. It just is how it goes.
It's just bonkers, mate. This league in a nutshell is just absolutely mental.
Yeah, I'm starting to catch on to that.
Okay, so throw out a match, and we will start with that one. Where are we going first?
Where do you want to go? Do you want to? How about the? Let's hit on that Ipswich Derby match. You want to hit on that one?
Okay, so Ipswich Derby, that was a 2-2, as we said. So Greaves scored at 33 minutes for Ipswich Town, followed up by Derby at 50 minutes with Morris. That was a penalty to draw a level. Then they went ahead with Brewster at 70 minutes. And then in an interesting end to the match, Clark scored a penalty at 90 minutes plus 16. I believe it was something like plus 14 was the
it was literally like
amount.
The last kick of the game was the penalty, just about. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah. We were actually watching the Wrexham. It was, of course, at the same time as the Wrexham game, but I had switched over because it was the only game still going because our game had gone so long. And me and Patty and Ken were behind the scenes watching together. And I switched over and watched the penalty. I was like, holy shit, you guys can believe this. He's kicking a penalty right at the end. So, yeah, it was pretty wild. Good. I mean, I think a draw is a good result for Derby. A win would have been much better. You know what I mean? They got to be disappointed. They probably deserve the 3, I would think. I mean, you know what I mean? You hold them that long and then give up a penalty right at the end. That's disappointing. But yeah, I think that's a surprise result for me.
Yeah, it was a good game. I saw the highlights, and there was a few. There was the non-penalty where Hurst got booked for diving, which I actually think was a dive. And Ipswich saving themselves with a last-minute penalty. Where have I seen that before? It was a good game. I think there was a few tasty challenges in there. I don't know if you've seen the tackle in there where Travis has left one on somebody a little bit, hasn't he? Bit lucky with that one, shall we say?
Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Yeah, you posted that in our chat, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, credit to Derby. That's a fantastic result. It probably stings like hell, like we had the same experience where you were winning against Ipswich until the dying minutes and to let it go. But when you look back on it 10, 15 games time, you'll probably say, a point away at Ipswich. There aren't going to be many teams that do that this season. So good result.
Yeah, I was watching most of that match as well. Derby actually had a few more chances there as well. They just couldn't finish them. The stats wise, obviously the Ipswich dominated. They had more shots counted. They had more on target, but they couldn't finish them. It was a sloppy and messy in parts actually. They were both going for it. Obviously, they really stood up for it. And good luck to Derby. They did well. They could have won it, but look, they just couldn't hold out. Do you know why the ref gave the extra minutes and why it was so long with 14? I didn't actually see that. Was it a serious injury?
There was something I can't remember. I knew it yesterday because I looked yesterday. I was trying to figure it out, and I did, and then now I forgot. I said there was a reason. There was something. I can't remember.
I think it was one of those, wasn't it? I think there was a few injuries.
Yeah.
And I think, shall we say, Derby were playing the dark arts and wasting time somewhat. So
the ref added an extra.
Yeah, I think the ref added, but then again, he played a lot longer than the board that went up. I think the board went up for a certain amount, and they ended up playing sort of.
I think it was about 2 minutes. Solid 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went pretty far over because it was like I think he had added on or the minimum of 13, and I think like you said they went like 16 by the it was all by the time it was all said and done.
3.
Yeah.
But fans always get irate at that because they see the board go up for say 5 minutes, but it's a minimum of 5 minutes. So if the referee wants to add some more time on because somebody's been time wasting, he can.
Especially when he's saying the minimum's 13. There's a lot of time in 13 minutes to be wasting time. Yes. So you could easily be adding a lot more.
Yeah. When like 3 players go down with cramp on minute intervals.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ipswich is sorted. Next up then, because this will be interesting for a little Sackwatch we're doing later. Middlesbrough, Sheffield United. 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And Sheffield United, pretty even on the stats, 50-50 in possession, 15 total shots to 8. But Sheffield United had 3 big chances versus 1 for Middlesbrough. So they didn't have as many chances, but they had better chances and they couldn't convert. So they are left with 0 points after 4 matches.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know if they're an enigma right now. They should be better. And it's like, and you look at the stats and it's like they're getting opportunities and they're just not finishing. And it's very strange, I think. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly the issue is. But I do know this: their fans are ready to burn Ruben Sellers at the stake. So it's pretty wild. And then the rumors of Gus Hammer going out, leaving. Why? I mean, that's a surprise to me. And what was the other one, John? You said there was another one, didn't you?
There's a few been rumored, isn't there? I think there's a few rumors about O'Hare, but I suppose
that was the other one.
Yeah, I'm not sure both will go personally. I think one or the other might. I think personally, I think Harmer goes. He's too good for the Championship.
Yeah. I saw him linked with who was it? Or somebody. Now I can't remember. Of course, I did see a link earlier that he was rumored with somebody.
PSV.
Yeah, that was it. PSV. That's the one. Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Did you guys see the end of the match where he went over towards the fans to wave goodbye, essentially, and the fans started singing "You're going to be sacked in the morning."
Fellas.
And he decided to stand there and kind of make a big deal with the fans and focus on one in particular who was giving him a hard time. He should have just completely blanked him as if he couldn't hear him and just waved and walked away. But it's obviously getting to him. I think it was pretty clear that he was not happy. Now, for what reason in particular, I don't know. You can be pissed with the fans if you think you're doing a good job. You can be pissed with the management if they're interfering too much. You know, you can be pissed with the players if you think they're actively trying to get rid of you. Who knows what's going on in the background here? But it was interesting, obviously, start of the season. I'll say me as well. I definitely said that these issues, new owners, new style, can come in and cause problems. So I put them in the playoffs because I didn't think they would drop out of the playoffs, and I still probably don't yet. But I definitely think they have a shot at dropping, and that's what it's showing so far. So let's see.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know about you guys, but I thought the way he handled that at the end of the game came across to me a little bit arrogant, as if to sort of stand in there and just sort of you just thought read the room a little bit. You've
little
lost all the
childish.
banks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
childish.
yeah.
I thought I didn't like it.
I mean, the result as a whole. I mean, it was a cracking finish to win the game, but it was one of those results where you would say it was I wouldn't say it was a shocking result, but it was a surprise result, which was the most expected surprise result of the weekend, if you get me. I think everyone thought, do you know what? I fancy Middlesbrough to do them today. But on the flip side, you thought, no way can they lose a 4 game in a row, or 5 if you're counting cups. But yeah, it's just, I mean, they missed. You see the sitter they missed to equalise right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, he's missed from like 2 yards out, and you just think, when it ain't going your way, it ain't going your way. So,
and when they come back from the international break, they've got Ipswich. So that's an interesting one.
Both sides can't defend. That could be anything.
She could be anything. Yeah. Guys, we have Ken in the background coming in to join us. He is finished up whatever he was doing there. Oh no, he's not finished. Okay, he'll join us whenever he's
there. He goes.
I hit it as you hit it. I just want to listen. I just want to listen to some experts.
Yeah, come join us.
I'll put you guys on silent and I'm watching another show.
Okay. Sellers, do you have anything to say about him? Did you see his taunting of the fans?
That 92 Mark from Scum Army said it on the ring and rant. 92 points last season, haven't had a win yet in 4 games, and now there's 2 weeks for everybody to vent and just go nuts, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, insane. Yeah, he's got to go. I was looking on Twitter today, and it's like all the the people that are the accounts that are constantly the fan accounts that are posting about them. They're all, it's like, okay, who's the new manager going to be? It's not even when is he getting sacked? It's okay, who's the new guy? You know what I mean? That's all I'm seeing today. So they're fully expecting him to be gone.
He will be the second championship manager to get sacked, though. There is someone that's going to go before him.
Okay, hold that thought, because we will be doing Sackwatch a little later. So that'll be good for later. No problem. Okay, so that is another match down. Middlesbrough versus Sheffield United. How about Bristol City versus Hull? Banger of a game. Six goals. So it ended up 4-2 to Bristol City. Who was first? Gellert was first for Hull City after just 3 minutes. Then Bristol City came back. Jakobsen at 18 minutes. Mehdi at 32, Jakobsen again at 42, and then Bird at 78, and then Hull got a consolation at 90 plus 3 at the end. 56-44 for possession. Total shots 29 for Bristol with 6 big chances, 20 for Hull, but they had 5 big chances and didn't convert them. So that was a really interesting match, guys.
Yeah,
that's a classic championship match.
Wild. I was watching some of the highlights on it, and some of the defending was horrific. I mean horrific, especially from Hull. It was bad. They just fell apart at the back. Watching some of the highlights. It was really bad. Emil Reese Jacobson steals the ball off of Charlie Hughes, which, I actually like Charlie Hughes. I think he's a pretty good center back, but just gave the ball away. Nobody's there behind him. So Reese is through one-on-one with the keeper and puts it in. It was a wild game. I don't think Bristol ever looked like they were not going to win it, though. I think they were pretty comfortable. I think that the second whole goal came in the, what'd you say it was, the 90th plus 3. So it was kind of a consolation goal at the end there. But it was Bristol just steamrolled them. But yeah, terrible defending.
Yeah, I can only agree. The one thing I take from this match is I don't know if Bristol are actually really good or Hull were just really bad. I think it's probably a little bit somewhere in between. I've liked Bristol. I think they look a strong outfit this season. I did kind of wonder, who would score the goals for them, but there was a certain guy that scored a couple in this game for them. But yeah, no, Hull are a weird side. I've seen them a couple of times now, and against you guys in the cup, I thought they looked excellent, and then I've seen them in the league and they just defensively just look absolutely wide open. So yeah, again, were Bristol 4 goals better than them? Certainly yes, but was that down to Bristol's wonderful play? I'm not so sure. I think that's more down to Hull just defending like idiots, to be honest. But great result though.
Yeah, I would say Hull are a little bit stronger in their attack when it works for them. They can score, and it's one of these championship matches that on their day, they're going to bang a couple of goals. They had chances, they just didn't convert them today. And if they get up early and start to dominate, they can run someone over occasionally, and that's the interesting thing. But on their day, they're going to get absolutely pumped as well. So that's an interesting one. Bristol is doing well so far with their points, and they're getting their matches. So they're looking good. But yes, when you watch their matches, they look weak at times. Good results gone their way so far, but not amazing in my mind.
I'd happily be average with 8 points already, though.
Oh, of course. Take points however you can get them. So I'm not saying anything with that.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else on that? We jump through. Okay. A little one here I watched that I want to bring up is Blackburn Rovers versus Norwich. We had a red card. So it went 2-0 to Norwich. Blackburn Rovers had the red card at 44 minutes. So it was just at the end of the first half. They had to go the entire second half with down one man. But it was relatively even in the possession, 46 to 54 for Norwich. So they didn't overly dominate them. And they actually didn't dominate them in the second half when they were down with 10 men, interestingly enough. Total shots, there was 12 for Blackburn and 15 for Norwich, and 3 big chances each. So in the second half, we had Sargent scored twice. 45 minutes, the penalty, and then he scored at the end for a 90+1. Now, I watched most of this match, and it was messy. It was really messy. Both of them in the box, bouncing balls off each other. Defenders turning their arse just to try and deflect the ball away. It was a crazy match, and they looked weak in all the funniest ways. So like it was 2 bad teams against each other, and I expect them to be fairly low down, and absolutely beatable teams. Like obviously we're only in this league this year, so nice to see a couple of teams that actually look bad compared to some of the others. Every dog has their day. Again, I'm not saying they can't do it. I was surprised by Norwich. They have Sargent. He obviously got the goal at the end, and he is very good in general. He looked good on the pitch as well compared to everybody else. But I expected more out of Norwich, actually. They looked really weak today as well, playing against a weak team.
How did Darling look for them?
Good.
Since you watched, did he?
Darling looked good as well. Yeah, strong.
I was curious. I didn't get to watch that game, but I've been curious how he did. So we were linked so heavily with him in the summer, so I was curious how that went.
As we're going through all this, I've just realised I hadn't updated the footy tip sheet from the weekend, so I've just put that in the Discord for everybody, just so they want to know Just to see how badly John did. But, yeah,
I'm just about to where I'm going to start flipping coins. I mean,
No.
I don't think you can't think about it. You can't think about it anymore.
No.
How did I do? Did I do all right?
Well, I'm just going to say now, John did tip the result of 2-0 of Leicester. Where was it? 2-0 Wrexham v Sheffield Wednesday. He got it. The only thing is he
Wrong
actually put it the wrong way around.
Wrong way.
Yeah, like the rest of the division thought. Yes.
Yeah,
See, they all know nothing about football.
that's right. None of them.
Sorry.
Broken
Sorry to
clock
hijack it,
right
but
twice
sort of put it in there. You go back. Yeah.
Okay, just to finish up that match, did you see the red card, John?
Yes, I did.
Did you think it was a penalty?
It's on the edge, isn't it?
Soft. It was played for. It was played for. He was touched.
Yeah,
Technically, by the rules, I would say yes, it was. But I've seen him not given.
No, I think the problem is because it's. I mean, he's gone for a shirt pull, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
And you just can't. In this day and age, you just can't.
Yeah.
I think the problem is. I mean, everyone goes on about why it's a penalty, blah blah blah. It's like the problem is because it's a shirt pull. There's no. He's not made a deliberate action to try and win the ball. It's a cynical foul, so it's a red card, irrespective of inside, outside, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it kills the game essentially, right there and then.
But Sargent went down almost instantly. It was one of those. He knew he's got my shirt. I'm going down, and the ref clearly saw it, so he called it. He was right to call it. Yeah.
And if we're all being honest, if that's one of our strikers running through for our respective clubs,
absolutely, we're
wanting them to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't ever want to be honest.
Honest, never heard of her.
Right, so now we are on to Millwall Wrexham, I think, guys. Let's hit that one. So this is about the championship, and we try not to dwell on Wrexham too much, but we had a very interesting match this weekend. So in case we have anyone in the chat today who didn't watch the match, I'm sure most of you certainly did. Millwall was at home to ourselves, Wrexham. Moore scored at 58 minutes. He took a clatter from the keeper, but managed to direct the ball in. And then O'Brien scored the second at 90 plus 18. So the reason we had such a huge added time at the end was because Ward came out to clear a ball right at the edge of his box and went over, and it looks like he has potentially dislocated his elbow, is what we've been hearing. So no confirmation yet officially as to what's happening, but the rumor mill, whether it can be believed or not, is saying that it's only a dislocation, and they're starting to hope that it's not a major time off. So 60% possession for Millwall, 40% for us. They might have been better if they actually gave us the possession, but they didn't. 21 total shots for Millwall versus only 6 for us. Only 1 big chance for them, and we had 3 big chances and scored 2 goals. So once again, a typical Wrexham match where we give you the ball, let you play around, and when we get our chances, we take them and we win the match. So have at it there for a little bit before I go absolutely batshit crazy on the Millwall podcasters who are exactly like their fans. But leave that aside. We'll talk about the match first.
I thought, the first half I did. I you guys know this. I had to go back and watch the first half over because I'd missed most of it. So it was kind of. I would say they were in control, but they never looked that threatening.
Toothless.
You know what I mean?
Toothless,
they didn't really look that threatening all game. And that was one of the things we talked in the pregame show. I said I think up top they just lack a little. They don't have what they need up top. They don't have a real dangerous front man. and I think that showed. So where they had most of the possession, and they were good defensively. Don't get me wrong, they were good defensively. They just never really seemed to threaten us too much. I thought this was a much better defensive performance from us. I thought Doyle looked fantastic. Interesting that Parkey brought him off, because usually that's something Parkey doesn't do. He doesn't like to bring defenders off. But I know we had talked about it, when we were watching the game. I think he came off because Brunt offers more in the air. And I think he felt like we were going to be under pressure and balls would be coming into the box, and he wanted that more of an aerial presence. And so that's probably why he brought Brunt in there towards the end of the game. And then obviously we went super defensive at the end. He brought Scar in, dropped who came off? It was it Longman came off and then Scar came in? Was that changing? So we slid Max out to the wing back.
You're the wing back, don't attack.
Yeah. So it was a 5 at the back, like a legit 5 at the back. It got very defensive, but they never really looked to trouble us much. Now Okonkwo, when he came in, made an unbelievable save. One save right at the end that they could have got a goal back there, and he made a terrific save, and that's what he's good at. He's a great shot stopper.
It was absolute reactionary save.
Yeah, it's so good, and he is so good at that. If he can get the other elements of his game right, he's going to be an unbelievable keeper. You're really high ceiling for him if he can get the other elements of his game up to where they need to be. But yeah, I thought we just looked strong all game. I was really happy with it. We probably didn't threaten them as much as we needed to in the first half. If I'm going to be, if we're going to look down on anything, I thought that was probably the worst part of our game, especially in the first half. We just didn't look that threatening. We looked a lot more threatening in the second half. But yeah, I thought we pretty comfortable really. Once we got the goals, it just never looked like. Once we got the first one, I never felt like they were going to get back even. You know what I mean? I never thought they were going to get back to us. Then when O'Brien puts in the second one, it was over. Everybody. I think the whole stadium evacuated. A second goal goes in, the den emptied. What I mean?
Do you want the counter argument to that? Because I got some good negativity. I got a bit of negativity.
All right, go.
Yeah.
If Millwall were half decent in the final third, they could have easily won that match. And they weren't. So, and they weren't. And so too bad, so sad. But, we were good, but we did give away possession too easily, in my opinion. We let them have the ball too much and had too much control. It's just that they were so bad in the final third that they couldn't finish off. So I'm a happy Wrexham fan, but there's some things there we need to sort out.
Yeah, there was a couple of occasions where they got up to the byline, cut back in, and put the ball across the goal in that perfect distance, just outside of the keeper, just behind the defenders, but nobody was there near the back post who could get on it. I would say there was 2 significant chances there where the ball came in a lovely spot for our opponents because we hate it. I've seen this numerous times, but again, they didn't have anybody there ready, and they weren't there for it. But I've seen that numerous times for us.
I would also say though, actually back to Aaron's side, we absolutely butchered a goal. We were free and open play, coming down the middle. Smith had the choice left or right, and he went too late. He'd gone right. It was an open goal. It was just but anyway. Leave her along. John, what did you think, John? As Wrexham's number 1 fan?
I was surprised by the result because I didn't see Millwall losing their second. It's their second game at home this season because they got battered the first game.
They won their away matches and lost their home.
Yeah, I'm going to say it was a bit of a surprise. I'll be honest, to counter Aaron's thing, they have got a striker. they've got a striker worth a lot of money up front in Ivanovic, but I believe
Yeah.
Palmer bid 8 million quid for him on Saturday morning, which I wonder whether that was playing on his mind while he was playing up front, shall we say, because he is a very good striker. I thought the second goal especially was a wonderful goal. I thought the first goal, if you're a Millwall fan, you're dragging your goalkeeper to one side saying, what the hell are you doing? Because there's no way on this planet Kiefer Moore should score that. The goalkeeper's got to come out, clear the ball and take Kiefer Moore's head with it. Just has to. But it's a cracking result. There's not many teams that go to Millwall and won. But yeah, there's 2 so far this season. But no, take nothing away from you guys. That's a top result.
I'm just happy. No, thanks, John.
Yeah, with our defence, this is the first match where we have probably gotten close to a starting 11 that you would pick for what's going to be the remainder first half of our season. Now we know there's more coming in and there'll be a few changes, but this kind of looked pretty close to what you might pick as your first choice. So we looked better, I think, because of it. We were stronger starting. We looked more comfortable in defence. The scary moments weren't nearly as scary as the last couple of matches, where we really looked dog shit at times, and they were cutting right through us, and people were out of position a lot. We were much more solid there, which is a decent sign for the future, and I'm sure we'll grow into that. Same with the passing around the midfield. We know we have to work on that. We know we have to work on holding the ball more and not giving them as much possession as we do. And some of our players need to look a little bit more comfortable on the ball and not be getting rid of it too soon. But I think they're still in the mode that we have seen before, where if in doubt, get rid. You know, we have used that, especially for the likes of Clewert. When Clewert was building up in League One, it was very clear for him that if you're not comfortable, if someone is getting on top of you, get rid. So a few of our players need to get rid of that mindset. Well, they just need to be more comfortable so they don't need to get rid. And that will hopefully come with time. And I'm starting to feel more comfortable about it. So it was a good match. Not an amazing match, I guess. That's fine. But better. Definitely better.
Improvement. It was an improvement. Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so Ward. Oh, Ward came out, went up for a ball, came down on his side. Very heavy landing. Landed on his left arm and then basically rolled onto his back. And to me, certainly, and this will become relevant in a moment, it looked like he went completely prone, completely out for a few seconds, and then seemed to potentially come around with very exaggerated movements on his lower legs. Now, a lot of people said, "Oh, that's pain response," and it may be partially pain response, possibly. But if you look at the actions just a little bit later, you could see what a normal pain response was. He was moving his legs, he was moving his hand around, his other hand, stuff like that. That would be for me a more normal pain response. So in my mind, he potentially went unconscious momentarily, and likely the pain from his arm probably brought him back pretty quick. But he certainly came down hard on his side with his head as well. So that potentially puts you in a concussion realm because of being careful. Simple as that. He was out. Well, he was obviously on the ground for a long time, which led to all the extra time that we had at the end of the match. But what did you guys think of that whole scenario? Like they looked after him, they did everything. Did you see anything different than how I just did?
No, I pretty much agree with you. It was weird because the commentary kept mentioning his ribs, and it didn't. And what was weird about it is he was holding his nose. It looked like he was holding his nose. You know what I mean? And so we were trying to think, okay, maybe he broke his nose. And then, like you said, he started kicking and stuff. And I didn't immediately, like you did, I didn't catch that where he went, just where it looked like he went out. Watched it back, and then I agree with you. He definitely, I'm pretty positive, went out. It did look like he went out. Initially, I didn't catch it right away. But the immediate thing was, he was kicking his leg, but then he had his hand up here like this. And so we were thinking, oh, he's broke his nose or something, because we thought maybe when he flew out there, he went face to head with the other player, or maybe caught an arm or something. But it was, it was definitely. I mean, look, certainly I would say in the concussion realm, and that was one of the issues that, of course, their fans were bringing up. We had already used our 3 substitution windows, but because there was a head injury, we were allowed that 4th window, which also allows them an extra window if they wanted to use it. I don't know if they did, but I know there a lot of their fans initially were like, because the reports after the match were, well, he's getting his arm looked at. That's well, if it's his arm, why did they get the extra window? But which is fair, but he was obviously also concussed, or at least had some sort of injury to the brain. I'm definitely not a doctor, so I don't know how all that works. But
like this show.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, it was an interesting one. I mean, but you feel confident. I feel confident in Arthur. So I'm not, I'm not that worried. I do think I thought Danny's been really good for us, though. So, it's not great. You don't want to be chopping and changing your keeper. But I know there's been plenty of people that have been they've been asking for Arthur, and they've been wanting him in. They haven't liked Danny as much. And I've not really had much bad to say about him. I thought he's done pretty well for us. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm not nervous about having to play Arthur at all. So we'll see how long Danny's out. Hopefully not too long.
Is it dislocated elbow, did you say?
A dislocated elbow is what we've been hearing.
Yeah, so it'll probably be a couple of months, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, because goalkeepers, obviously, arms and elbows are a bit more important.
Right.
But yeah, I'd
so
imagine.
if it's 6 to 8 weeks,
yeah.
AO's your starter, Callum Burton. If you don't sign anybody, AO's your starter, Callum Burton's your backup, and for now, and then in a couple of months' time, Callum Burton's still your backup, probably till about 10 weeks, 11 weeks, and then Ward maybe gets back to backup behind AO. All things going well.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we get someone?
Well, that's the question. They need to make a quick decision as to how long he's expected to be out and how much risk they're willing to take, because we need him back ready to go by December, because there has always been talk that Arthur will need to go out for the AFCON in December, so mid-December. So he's going to miss that winter period into the start of January, at least a couple of weeks. So that's a very difficult period. And you would want to have 2 solid keepers ready if he's going to go out, because otherwise you're seriously risking it. So if we're going to register him, then the only way of doing backup is an under 21 that we purchase, because you can't do a loan. It counts in the numbers. Would you buy someone not under 21? Then you have to register 4 keepers. I doubt that's happening, and we already have solid replacements.
Or do you get a loan with a club that you agree with? You'll only have them till January and give them back when you then can bring Ward back on the list,
and leave Ward off the list
until January.
Yeah. Well, leaving Ward off the list opens up other options if it's going to be that long. If it's going to be into the middle of December, when we know we need him and we're not sure whether he'll be back or not, then yes, I would say you would leave him off and find someone else, because then you have a spot on your list where you can replace him if you're leaving him off. So then we can get a loan, we can get whoever we want pretty much at that stage. If you get someone to replace AO, he's not going to be happy. So that'll be an interesting one. You're not going to get a loan who won't come in first spot, because they're not going to come in to sit a bench. You could buy someone in and make them sit a bench, that's fine. But yeah, interesting one. Hopefully it's 6 to 8 weeks and we just wait.
Yeah.
Will be the best option, I guess.
Yep.
Right. So we all have heard about the Millwall fans and how nice and friendly they are to everybody, you know. They don't even obey minute silences for their own people who've died. Not to mind anybody else who might want them to do so. They decided to spray paint the path for the away fans coming in, with welcome Wrexham and some other words I won't bother saying, on the show. So they're all very friendly. And then they left, obviously, as soon as that second goal went in, absolutely abandoning their team. Wouldn't even stay and give them a little clap. No, you lost the match. Tough shit, boys. We're going home. And then, of course, one of their fans, who is a podcaster, decides to vent, let's say. He was coping big time. So he decided that the referee was completely on our side. He called the referee gay and said that he and his boyfriend obviously watched Disney Plus and wanted to get the signatures of some of the Welcome to Wrexham stars. So he was allowing all sorts of shirt pulling, and we don't do shirt pulling up at this level. Go back down to where you belong, and all of this carry on. And then he decided that we faked a concussion in order to swap out our keeper when we should have given the gloves to somebody out on the pitch, and finished out the match that way. And he went into the rule book and he started reading out the rules of concussion protocols, which he didn't actually know beforehand. And he's reading through it all and saying, oh, yeah, this, yeah, that's fine. You shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. And then as soon as it came to concussion or suspected concussion, and it's the team decide, not the referee. And all of a sudden he went quiet and then kept going and just ignored that part completely. So the rule is, as I understand it, because I listened to him call out these rules, and he actually can read, which is a good start. And basically what it says is the referee is not responsible for deciding a concussion protocol change or not. It's actually the team themselves. They tell the referee, their own medical team say that we need to do a concussion swap, and the referee will accept it and he will allow it. And the only thing he can do is, if he doesn't believe it, then he puts it in his report, and he puts the report in to the EFL, and they can follow it up if they wish to do so. And the club is responsible for submitting extra paperwork and details saying why they requested the concussion protocol. And I assume all you do is you take the 10 seconds of him hitting the ground and him going limp, and you say, there's your there's your concussion suspected. And of course, they will have even more than that. They will have been speaking to him. They will have seen him. And he even went through all the different levels. Oh, he went through the medical way of determining concussion. And from viewing it on screen, he counted up the numbers and he said, no, he's fine. He's nearly alive. That's fine. Even if you're dead, you get 3 points. You get 15 points if you don't have a concussion. You get 3 points if you're dead. And I'm counting it up here, and he's got 12 points. He's fine. He doesn't have concussion. and he was saying that is the club going to man up and put in a report saying that Wrexham has cheated and they want the result cancelled and they want the match to be replayed. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
So he took it well then. So he took it well.
Are you? Yeah.
He took it well.
Oh, and of course he as everybody else does, called us the worst team that they have ever played.
I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the same guy or not, but I saw
no,
one.
I think it was. Everybody does it. You know,
Actually,
yeah, it was.
I want you to clip this up, this little comment section that you've done now. Do it as a short, throw it up on all the social pages with hashtag Millwall FC.
I did post it in the Discord, so the link is in there. If you want to go and listen to the Cope, he was speaking for about 55 minutes on that one. The first 7 minutes was a general recap, which he got correct, and then basically a solid half an hour of bullshit and waffle came out of his mouth, all coping about losing the match. He did actually decide to throw a few shits and fucks at his own team and his own manager, and his owners and everybody else. So he threw a bit at everybody just because, of course, why wouldn't you? You're a Millwall fan, you know.
The daft thing is, when you're talking about concussion and medical, it's usually the medical doctors on the team that will make those calls. It won't be the physios or anything like that. It'll be the doctors and they get a lot of, not stick, but because they're independent to the club almost. They will always take the person's best interests at heart, irrespective of whether you've got enough substitutes or not. They won't care about that. So the fact that they're saying that, they made it up, it's like it'll be a proper fully qualified doctor making that call. So they're not going to get that wrong.
And John, furthermore to that, not that football's as much of a contact sport, but in gridiron and rugby league here in Australia, now with the concussion rules, they pull players straight off because football players just want to stay on. They want to keep playing because that's in their nature. But now what's happening is footballers now in retirement are suing the respective leagues and clubs that they played for because they've got long-term brain damage because someone left them on the field when they should have taken the responsibility to take them off.
Yeah, rugby has a concussion protocol, and if I get it correct, if I have it correct, basically what they do is they pull you off the pitch and do the concussion protocol in the back, and then they give you permission to go back on. So you can do a switch and then switch it back once they're deemed to be fit and healthy to go back on the pitch.
If it goes the other way and they are deemed to be concussed, they have to miss another game. And if it's more than their first concussion, they miss an extended period of time to give the brain time to heal.
So I like that, to be honest, and I don't have issues with these. I don't have issues with the health of players and stuff like this to allow people off. And I think we could get away with it in football as well. I think you could take someone off, like this idea of the 30-second rule. If you give somebody treatment on the pitch, that they have to stay off for 30 seconds. You could actually take that a little bit further and say, okay, well, if you need treatment on the pitch, you leave the pitch for 2.5 minutes and you can put another player on. You know what I mean? And just make it difficult. Well, you're swapping players. You've got someone who's not warmed up, and they have to cover for you while you're gone. And some players might think about getting treatment on the pitch when they don't need it. If they have to actually go off and somebody else takes their spot for a few minutes as a precaution. Because to be honest, look, just on that point, what do you think about the substitution rules and having them restrictive in the way they are? Do you agree with that? Would you like a larger bench? Would you like more substitutions? What do you think would be better? Now, we can afford depth. So, like, obviously in our scenario, we have a bit of cash. So you allow us more players on the bench, we're going to have strong players on the bench. And weaker teams who don't have the money won't. So
I'll be very quick. I wouldn't change the rule. The only part of the rule I would change the rule, but the only bit I would change is that the only position that you're allowed to swap out with an injury is a keeper. That's it. So
free.
if you're on your 3 interchanges like they had earlier, like in our game, and
can
a keeper
always
goes down injured, a keeper can be replaced. But if someone else goes down injured, too bad, so sad.
So are you saying injury, or you mean like concussion? Are you saying a concussion or any injury?
No, any injury.
So let's say your striker breaks his leg, but you've already made you're down to 10 men.
Yep.
And I agree with that. I'm not. I think that's part of it.
Because then managers have to tactically.
I do wonder. When did it? And John, you may know this better. When did the 3 window thing come in effect? How long has that been a rule?
It was after the COVID seasons because
Was
obviously
it?
because obviously during the COVID seasons the rules were tweaked so you could make more subs because obviously during that season there wasn't like pre-season, so they just went straight back into football, didn't they? So they sort of deemed it as it was a health risk for players, so that's why they allowed more substitutes. But I'll be honest, I would keep the rules the same they are. I remember the COVID seasons where you could make more subs. It was horrible because you could change pretty much you could change most of your team, and it just completely messed up football, if I'm being honest. And I think obviously from both our clubs we've got money, so more subs and bigger benches is great for us, but lower down the leagues clubs don't have money. So
let me ask this: do we think if you kept it at you're only allowed to make 5 changes, but got rid of the 3 windows, would that change a lot? You're still only allowed to make 5 changes.
Well, the reason they did the 3 windows is they don't want you delaying the game again and again and again. You could tactically send people on one at a time in order to break up play and slow the game down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is what
fair
they
enough.
used to.
Yeah. So the point would be, I guess, okay, so let me come at it from a different angle. You hear a lot of complaining about we're playing too much football. Too many games.
A load of rubbish.
Okay. I agree. But you hear that. That's an argument made. If you allow more subs, or get rid of the windows where you're not quite as restricted. Is that a way of alleviating that some, where you can get more? So maybe you're still playing your same players, but maybe they don't have to play as long because you can bring on more subs, or would teams just ignore it anyway? They're always going to play their best player.
It's a bit of a red herring though, because the only ones that moan that we actually play too much football is the likes of Liverpool, Man City. It's the big clubs. They're the ones that moan that we play. No one else does. You don't hear people in the Championship or League One complaining they played too much football when they actually play more games.
But who's moaning though? The owners aren't moaning that are earning the money.
No, this is that it's the old adage, stupid double-edged sword, isn't it? You get Pep and all these guys coming out in the press conferences. We play too much football, and as soon as the season finishes, they're off to Dubai to play a 10-game bloody pre-season. So it's like, it obviously isn't a problem, is it? When it makes you money, so shut up and put up with it.
There we go. That's it.
Okay, this could be a long conversation, so let's keep this one short. I just want to throw it out there because it's an interesting comment. That's why not stopping the clock is questionable. If you sub the clock should stop. Injury clock stops, less gamesmanship. So the idea of finishing at 45 minutes and finishing at 90 minutes, let's say you could do what rugby does if you want, that it's once the ball goes out of play or stops after the time. Rather than an exact blow the whistle, you could say last movement once the time is finished. But the idea then that you don't have to worry about plus 5 minutes, plus 7 minutes, when the play stops, the clock stops, and then when you hit 45, you're done. What do you think?
That'd be an interesting test just to watch, just to see, because at the moment you sort of get to 45 and 90 minutes and you're like, how much extra time?
Mm.
You know, it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. What is it going to be? And you're sort of waiting with anticipation. You're leading. You want it to be 0 minutes. You're losing. You want 9 minutes. And if they did the stoppage, well, then you would know at 45 it's over. And like, so what's better for the theatre? Because remember, it's entertainment.
Mm.
And the other thing is too, it seems like it's so subjective. You
Yeah.
get certain referees that add on a ton of time, and then you get referees that don't. Or they're the same game, they'd add on much less. You know what I mean? And it's not. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I don't know if they'd ever do it, but yeah,
You can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
The game is over 100 and how many years old the game is.
Mhm.
You know, it's a wonderful game. It isn't broken. It's never been broken. You know, I'm going to get on a rant about VAR if you're not careful, but
do it.
but this is why you don't need to change anything. You don't need to stop clocks. You don't need all this. You know, if you don't have injury time, you don't have questionable decisions by referees and all this, then none of us have got anything to whinge and talk about afterwards, have we? It just becomes a sterile game. It does. It becomes a sterile, boring game which has no emotion and no passion in it.
Paddy, you should have kicked us all out and let John go on his VAR rant.
Yeah.
Don't start me on that. No.
I hate VAR as well, actually. So maybe one day we can dig into that and just whip shreds out of it.
The Paddy and John show.
Yeah. Happily shreds into that absolute. Yeah.
Yeah, that clusterfuck we saw in the Premier League yesterday and with VAR.
Scum Army agrees with you. Not broken, don't fix it. I could make an argument that it is broken, but there we go. But it's this question of how many broken things you want to shout about. Yeah, you can choose what to leave in and what to leave out. But yeah, that's fine.
Hang on.
Okay. Yeah.
Paddy, Birmingham's just got their next signing.
125 million bid for Isaac.
Wow.
Isaac. Okay.
Had it accepted, bro. Wow.
That was always on the cards, wasn't it, when Newcastle signed that striker?
I thought didn't they already? I thought the last one was like around that price, and they turned it down. I thought it was right in that 120.
I believe
it's one day in the window now.
Yeah. Well, no, I believe it was, but they went and signed that striker, didn't they, the other day? So they've got a replacement.
So they got the replacement. So now they're ready to send it. I got it. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the match is done. But we have been speaking about Sackwatch all summer, basically, as we started to talk about manager changes and everything happening during this summer. So we are going to play a little game, and we're going to follow this throughout the season and see who's the first to get sacked, who's the fifth to get sacked. And I even made a little graphic for this one. So here we go. Oh, wrong one. You don't want to see that one. This one. Okay. This is the Sackwatch. We have all the managers and their teams there. And because it's early in the season and there isn't that many that we truly believe are going to get the sack next week, we are going to pick at least 4 who should be on Sackwatch. Maybe they could go sometime soon. And I also have decided that we should put a lock on 4 managers that we think have no shot of being replaced, just for a little bit of fun. And as the season goes, we may put in more Sackwatches as we go. And I also decided to check last season, when was the first manager let go? And it was basically the middle of September, which I didn't check the exact dates, is probably after the first match back from the international break. So lots of ultimatums for some people in the middle of the international matches, I would think, and screw up your next match and we may get rid of you is a possibility. So things do start moving pretty quickly some seasons, not all seasons. But so let's go with this one, guys, and which will we start with, the locks or will we start with the sacks?
Do the locks first. Do the locks first.
Okay. So then we need 4 teams that have been doing well, exceptionally well, let's say, or have no shot of getting sacked in the near future. What do we think, guys?
No
chance.
I don't know.
Middlesbrough. Let's start with obviously Middlesbrough.
Okay.
No chance.
Actually, should we actually bring up the leaderboard, because we haven't checked it today, and just see where everybody's sitting?
The table?
Yeah,
Bring
and
up the
just see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I've got that in front of me if you want me to pop
have you got it?
in there.
Yeah, pull it up then. Go ahead.
Here we go. This one.
So let's have a look at the top of the table and see who is doing well. Okay, Middlesbrough are top of the table, 4 wins out of 4. We have West Brom, they are doing very well. Stoke doing very well. Leicester City doing well. I would say that's where they should be. So not really blowing the doors off, but it's only 4 matches. Coventry doing pretty well. Bristol City up there. Swansea, Portsmouth, Preston, Birmingham, Norwich, Millwall then in the top 12. So Middlesbrough won 4 out of 4. Yeah, I definitely think this new manager, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. So new manager, 4 out of 4, and
Rob Edwards.
They're not on any packages coming down from the Prem. So yeah, I would say sorted. That's a lock. But West Brom doing exceptionally well for the start of the season. Definitely over expectations for the end of the season. Stoke City, same as well. 9 points out of 4 matches. West Brom and Stoke. Do we think that their managers are absolutely over expectations and are locked for the time being?
Yeah, I think Ryan Mason at West Brom. I think we can lock him in. He's in good shape right now.
Okay. Leicester City. They're kind of where they expected. I would personally leave them out. What about Coventry? Are they doing well enough that he's comfortable? And is there anybody below him that's doing?
I got a shout for you. How about Massinho at Portsmouth, sitting in 8th right now? I think they'd be extremely happy with that. If you told them that before the season started. Not to mention he's one of the longest running coaches in the championship right now. When did he? I can't remember when he took over. Was it early last season or was it right at the end of the season?
He's been there a few years, hasn't he?
Few years, yeah, a handful of years, right? Yeah. So I think I would say Massinho for Portsmouth is probably a good one that you could lock in. I mean, this is all early. That's the other thing too. This could change in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? They go on a run, a 6-game run of losses. Things change, but yeah, I mean, right now with what we're looking at, I don't think it's a bad shout. And then, like you said, you did say Coventry. Lampard.
Yeah, 7-1 win. That got him through to the middle of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the other reason I was kind of thinking Coventry is the sheer number of goals that they've started with as well. That's really positive.
Given how Coventry start every single season, which is usually utterly dreadful, he's pretty much guaranteed he's got the job till the end of the season with that start.
There you go.
I mean, usually Coventry don't win a game till like late September, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sorted. So let's scroll down to the bottom half. Have a look through there.
There you go.
Okay, so the absolute is Sheffield United. We've been talking about it earlier with the match as well. We had a nice deep discussion on it, and they have lost every match. No draw, They're going away now on the international break. And when they come back, they have Ipswich to welcome them back for their 5th match, which could very well be another loss, potentially, there for them. Now, they should be up the top, and they're right down the bottom. And their fans are singing, "You're going to be sacked in the morning." So, how serious do you think this is getting?
I don't see Ruben Salas getting out of this international window or this international break. I think they have a new manager, or at least a short term, whatever interim manager in place before they play Ipswich. I do not see him making it out of this window.
I think he does.
Transfer break. Think he does?
I think he does. Yeah. I don't think he lasts much longer afterwards, but I think he makes it out this international break.
I think he does as well. I expect the owners to be very hard-headed, that they dumped their successful manager to bring him in for whatever reason. Personally, I think it's because he'll do as he's told. He's been given a great opportunity with a fantastic team, and he'll be much easier to control. And he is their pick. So I think they're not going to want to get rid of him because it'll look bad for them. And I think they'll hang in with him for a bit longer. How long? How much longer? Obviously, that depends on the other results. But I think he'll get another couple of matches out of it. By 7. I think he'd be gone by 7 matches.
I think the other thing we need to also take into consideration, we say about the fans wanting, you're sacked in the morning.
But they don't. Owners don't care.
The owners don't care because they sacked Chris Wilder, who is an utter legend at Sheffield United. So if they're willing to get rid of him, they are not going to suddenly turn around and say, "Oh, yeah, we'll get rid of him because the fans are upset." They're going to stick by their man and they're going to give him every chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Ken, earlier you said that there's someone else will go before him.
Yeah.
Who?
Chris Davies. Birmingham should be on top of the table. They're sitting in 10th. The season's
Get him out of there.
Season's an absolute failure. Got to go. Tom Brady. Tom Brady is sitting at home. He was going to hop on his private plane, John, and fly over. And he's like, "I'm not even wasting the aviation fuel. That guy is out of here."
This is where I'd like to add the meme where it says, "Tell me you know nothing about football," without actually saying you know nothing about football.
The same. Chris Davies gone.
What's great about this is I've been given shit John shit in our little group chat for the last 3 weeks because they weren't like in the top 2. So I didn't even have to say it this time. So yeah.
I think the best one is you sent me the league table saying, "Oh, look at the league table," and Wrexham weren't even on the screenshot.
It was fair. It was funny when you repost. I was like, "Damn it, it's true."
Just saying, Paddy, you wanted the exclusive. I'm giving it to you here now.
Okay. Right. Another one. Gotta be Sheffield Wednesday. Now, I'm putting Sheffield Wednesday in here because if they get a sale done, the new owners might simply come in and dump the manager.
So here's a comment from John Hills on that, and I kind of agree. Sheffield Wednesday surely can't make changes, but and he goes on. I think I'm kind of with him. I don't think they can't make. I mean, let's be honest. They're not that close to a sale.
Yeah. Well, look, we don't know what it is. Probably not.
I mean, it's going to be a while. I mean, there's tons of rumors, but nothing's imminent. I mean, nothing's going to happen soon. I don't think. I'd say he's got to be. I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? And
he won't do it himself. It'll have to be a sale.
Yeah, Paddy, you're saying this can only happen as if the owner's gone, because the owner's not spending any money, and no manager in their right mind would come to them while Chansiri's still the owner.
Yeah, but look, the only thing I'm hanging my hat on here is you often hear, "Oh, no sale," and then out of nowhere it's done because they hide it and they don't tell you and stuff. Chansiri is an ass, so yeah, he'll probably be hanging around. But at the moment, there isn't actually a lot of options and serious options. So I'm throwing that one in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 more, and
Um,
then we can fight over it if you really want something different.
yeah, I'm looking, and they actually got a good result this weekend. But depending on what happens, I wonder about Julian Steffens at QPR.
I was about to say the same thing. I was about to say the same thing.
I think I think with what they've done in the window, I think they would have expected to do a little better. But like I said, they did get a good result on the weekend. It's early, super early. This is I mean, he's far from being under any serious pressure, but just somebody to keep an eye on. You know what I mean? If they continue to struggle, you know what I mean? And maybe what
And brand new in it are the people that are, well, it can go one of two ways. They're more likely to get shafted early, or they could say, well, we haven't given him a fair crack of the whip yet.
Well, that's the thing. They've brought guys in. It's some good play. I mean, they brought in Kone, they brought in Paku, they brought in, and now to be fair to them, they are dealing with some injuries too. And so I'm not saying he's under imminent pressure, but I think that's a shout for one that if things don't start changing in the next 6, 7, 8 weeks, maybe they start having a look at it. You know what I mean? Maybe, They just wanted to keep an eye on. Maybe.
Okay.
And you guys can argue with me if you.
No, it's hard to pick forward right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard to pick forward. Really, I'm just looking at it.
I think Derby is underperforming for what they expect. So that's one to be watching, because it's still early, but obviously 2 draws and 2 losses, not great for them. Ipswich being down in 20th with 3 points, it is nowhere near where they're expected to be. That's dodgy. And for them as well, if you flip it the other way around, if Sheffield take out their first win and Ipswich lose their next match, they could be on 3 points.
That's a fair point, matches. Fair point. Imagine that. Ipswich and Sheffield United tied on 3 points.
Tied on 3 points at the bottom of the table, near the bottom of the table. Depending on obviously Oxford, Derby and Sheffield. Yeah.
You're very silent there, John.
The Ipswich one, I just, Kieran McKenna is the best manager in the league. Pains me to say it, but he is. He's
gonna get time. I agree.
Yeah, the one I would say keep an eye on is Blackburn's manager. I would say Blackburn have not had a particularly great start to the season. He was been in charge back end of last season as well, where they had a strong finish, but the owners are bonkers, aren't they, at Blackburn? So if their current form carries on for say another 5-6 games, I think he's in trouble personally.
Just quickly, seriously, Paddy, Habisification. We're here to make these predictions. It's happening, mate. I love the fact. We don't want common sense here. We're not about common sense here.
Hang on. What? There's a reason I'm doing it this early, and it's nothing. It's nothing to do with common sense. And I've already told you why. Because last year it was middle of September when the first manager got the axe. So 2 weeks from now, and we could potentially have our manager. We could have 1 week from now. Someone could come and make an announcement in the middle of the international break and say we got rid of him. Unlikely. Look, fair enough. But I'm not going to miss out on the first manager sacking and then, oh, by the way, well, let's start the Sackwatch now that someone's gone.
I love that you put it in there, Daddy.
Now, in fairness as well, we're not going to take up as much time with this every week because we're going to have our setup now for next week. We can have a quick look at it. We can move 1 or 2 teams around and update it every week, and it'll take 2-3 minutes until we get our first manager sacked. So we're not going to dive into it like we are today too heavily, and it'll only take a few minutes. So it's only a bit of fun. So we still haven't got our set 4. So I asked you for answers before we started this so that I could get my graphic ready. And the 4 that I have on the graphic are Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby, and Ipswich. Now I can change any of those and just give it an update before next week. So let me know. Do we want Blackburn? Is Blackburn actually much more reasonable at the moment than Ipswich?
I'm super
I
disappointed.
think so.
In there.
I would put QPR and Blackburn in for Wednesday.
Derby and Ipswich?
Yeah, I would do Wednesday because I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think they can do anything. And they're not. Here's the difference with them compared to all these other teams. Nobody expects Wednesday to do anything. You could be their manager all year long. Nobody expects you to stay up. You know what I mean? There's no expectations for Wednesday.
I can't believe you're not putting Birmingham.
I will add a 5th, but I'm going to leave Wednesday in, and I'm going to stay there all season if needs be until they get sold or dumped or whatever. Until the new owners come in and say we're keeping him. But we can go to 5.
I don't think they're getting new owners. There's a hot take. I think
That's
he's going to
fine,
keep it, and they're going to go out of business.
It's not that hot a take.
I think it'll go away.
It's not that hot a take.
I don't think it'll ever get rid of him.
You're saying the club's going to go bust before they sack their manager?
No, I think the club will go bust before he sells them.
Before he sells it.
Yeah.
And maybe the manager as well, because he won't change it. It'll cost them money.
Yeah, he don't care.
Okay, so Derby out, Ipswich out, and we bring in QPR Blackburn. Is that what we want to do?
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So here's my new graphic. No, wrong one. There we are. Look, got nice little locks on it, and we got our little Sackwatch graphic as well. So look at all that work I did. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Paddy.
And I will edit it for next week and have it ready. What were you thinking?
I can't believe Chris Davies survived that lock, though. I'm just, can't believe it.
Well, he's certainly not getting a lock. Not yet. Not yet. I'd love to give Parky a lock because I know he's fine, but mid-table, can't guarantee anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys, are we happy with that for this week?
I think so.
Coming up on an hour, 20 minutes, and I do have appointments in the morning, so I would appreciate a little bit of sleep. But of course, I will stay if we have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, I think we're probably good.
Okay. So, right. So anyway, my plan is all season, we have every single manager that gets sacked on our Sackwatch list. That's the plan. And that's without putting every single manager into Sackwatch. We will limit it at a certain point. But that's the plan, people. We're going to catch everybody before they go. Okay. So I will update that graphic and just swap those couple around because we changed our mind. And guys, thank you very much for this week, everybody. It has been fun. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Once again, do all those nice things. Subscribe if you're not. Get your friends to subscribe because we want to hit our big numbers as soon as possible. And on that bombshell, 3,000 coming soon. Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our big show.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Massive show. 5 p.m.